نعم.
الآن خليك يا الله راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس.
So their defense for it is that a lot of these journalists are like affiliated with Hamas and that they're gang leaders and that they're all these things. And I really think that this is something that we should touch on because at this point, double the number of journalists that were unalived in the World War II have now been unalived in Gaza. I think it's over 100 more that were unalived in Ukraine have now been unalived in Gaza. And pretty much the topic I want to discuss is why is world media not getting behind them and supporting them at this point, like the way they did in 2015. I believe it was, I forget what country, but it was somewhere in the Middle East when they were unalived and they all got behind. They did fundraisers. They used their voices and speak out. Andre, I'll let you go first. Why do you think that this has not been a united effort by all media around the world?
Well, I mean, it's honest. What I'm about to say is the moment you start criticizing the actions of Israel and those within power, you get deemed an anti-Semite. It's been like that for the last 20 years, especially within media. But today, now you can talk about it, but you're still called an anti-Semite if you criticize it too much. So the reason why you're not seeing it is because, they'll sit back and talk about what's going on in Gaza, right? It's horrible. We all know it's horrible. But they won't actually be hard on condemning Bibi Netanyahu, who is loved by every politician in the United States, almost loved by almost everyone. Everyone respects Bibi. You can get the president pulling out the chair for Bibi when he comes into the White House. They don't want to call it out because there's so much money and so much connection with that. So many favors, so many hands that have been shook over the years with Israeli politicians, with Israeli diplomats, with other Israeli journalists that are covering this and what's going on from their perspective. So we just have to wait and see what happens. I mean, we know that everyone around the world is condemning Israel and what they're doing. No one is supportive of Israel. The support for Israel in this country is like a joke now. If you support Israel, it's kind of like, you're getting bought and paid for by someone and not to be taken seriously. But I think there needs to be more and more pressure from people on the ground and people who put out content, regardless if you're right or left, to sever our ties from the Zionist state, the Jewish state of Israel. Right.
Gray, why do you think that this is not getting media coverage or support from the media?
It was a clip I was trying to find. It's a black reporter. He popular. I can't think of his name, but he was on Joe Budden, and he was talking about all the reporters he knows that were deleted over there in Gaza. And basically, even on the Joe Budden podcast, he basically was just like, oh, well, can we talk about hip hop? Let's talk about the Young Thug case. So people are disconnected because it's not happening here. It's not happening to people they know. It's overseas. They're completely disconnected on what's going on. That's what I think.
And I think they're scared. That's what I think. I think they're scared to be canceled out, and they know that who controls what. Heaven, what's your thoughts? Why do you think their support is not there?
I think it was there in 2015 and it's not there now because everyone knows that Israel is not going to stop and they're going to go to the final solution. I'm sorry. Hold on.
I agree with that.
God, Heaven, don't cry.
Yeah, don't cry.
I actually have family living over there, so seeing you cry is making me a little upset. So don't cry, please.
I would say to her point, the reason for why they covered with Syria is because
I've been watching this for 2 years. I've been watching humans be blown up, women and children. I've formed bonds with a lot of the people over there, and the journalists are being unalived, taken out, deleted, targeted, more so because they're showing what's going on the ground, because those journalists were not the first that were targeted. It's whoever is okay. The journalists were showing all the pictures of the starving children. So the world started to push a little bit harder. Mm-hmm. And then those journalists specifically were attacked. in their tent, if you're dropping a bomb on a tent, like, can we grasp this? And me, as a soldier, knowing all of those laws, because part of my job was HR, I had to know all the rules and regulations. Watching white phosphorus fall from the sky, which is a war crime.
Mhm.
2 years almost of this. The world isn't stopping it. They're not stepping in because they know that America is backing Israel and will continue to, regardless of our laws that are broken, like the Leahy law. We've dumped ridiculous amounts of money into a port that fell apart in a day. It wasn't even able to be used. We've all the aid that Israel wouldn't let in. If a country is not letting the aid that our tax dollars are paying for into the country, then we are not supposed to be giving them the bombs to bomb the other country. We're not supposed to. That's part of the rules, to put it in layman's terms. But the world isn't going to stop because nobody really knows the true numbers right now. But I can tell you that it is most likely at this point over 500,000.
Unalived?
Yes.
Hmm.
There is no way to record who has been unalived because every single hospital, which is also supposed to be protected, there are certain things that are protected in war. Hospitals, schools, civilians, and civilian infrastructure. You're only supposed to attack military targets, which hasn't been happening for 2 years.
I just looked up the numbers. It says 61,805 Palestinians and 1,983 Israelis. So 63,000 in all.
That number is not accurate too, Greg, because the bodies are under the rubble. That's part of it too. There are literal bodies.
There is no way to record. And also, right, if you want to look up the Senate bill that passed, that we're not allowed to know the numbers.
For sure.
Right. So the Senate agreed and passed a bill that says Americans are not allowed to know the true number of unalivements over like that. What?
Nor did
and that
you
was under Biden.
Huh?
So
do mine next.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, it's good.
It's personal for me, and I didn't know that. So thank you.
For sure. Andre, this one for you. This is about the young Dolph case. This guy beat the case because